Hello and welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to start working towards using this beautiful brocade fabric that I picked up in the market at Visby Medieval Week. The plan is to make a corset out of this, but I do need something to go under said corset, so that's what I'm going to tackle today. I've got these two fabrics whose colours I think complement the colours in the brocade really well, but there's not a lot of this one, so I'm going to try and make a tunic-y type of dress out of it. And then the green one is actually an organza, so I'm going to try and make a really full overskirt out of it. Let's start with the green and the skirt because that's going to be a really simple design. Basically just going to be a tube about 4 times my waist measurement that I'm going to gather down and attach to a waistband. I now have a very large tube of fabric sewn together. Because this is organza and very sheer in one layer, I figured the more fabric I had in my gathers, the better. So rather than trying to measure out any waist measurements and timesing that by 4, I just folded what fabric I had in half and stitched that shut. Because this isn't a structural garment, it's not holding any weight, I don't think it'll matter which grain line I follow. But that does mean I now have about 5 meters of fabric here to mark so that I get nice and neat cartridge pleats. So let's start marking. The skirt is now all cartridge pleated down. I love how it looks. Cartridge pleats just look so cool. Now that I've got them done, I'm going to put together my waistband and I can then sew my pleats to the waistband. My skirt is done and ready to go. Despite being such a simple design, it did take me the better part of a day thanks to the cartridge pleating, but I love how they turned out. I also haven't done a hem on the bottom. Because of the way I sewed this, the bottom edge is the selvage, so it's not going to fray. It is very long, like much longer than I need it to be, but I thought when I'm wearing it, I could like tuck it up to create some different levels in the skirt, so I'm not going to hem it yet. And there's no closures in the back, it just ties shut. So a very simple design. But now with that done, I can move on to the tunic, which is going to be in this bronzy material. And for the pattern for that, I'm going to use McCall's M8303. It's a very dramatic gown. I'm not going to do like the cape sleeve part or even the full length. Mine will probably only be about knee length. I do not have that much fabric. I think there's 1.5 meters here. So this is just going to be a starting point to get the shapes right. So let's cut this out. All cut out now. Hopefully it is long enough. I really didn't have much fabric, so I just made it fit on as best I could. But first things first, I'm going to overlock all my edges, except maybe the hem, because that's definitely going to be uneven and all over the place and be chopped off later to fix it. So let's overlock. All overlocked, now to start putting this together. The tunic part is coming together. It just needs a zip up the back, and also I'm going to do a facing to finish this neckline. The actual pattern has a full lining, which would be lovely, but I feel like would be a bit too heavy for this fabric. It's got really nice drape and flow, so I'm just going to leave it as a facing. So the top edges of this tunic are all finished. All that's left now is the hem. So I do need to even that out first because some of the pieces are very oddly sized, but nothing too wild. So yeah, just got to even that out, stitch a hem in, and she's all done. The tunic is all finished now, so it is just time to see if it works with the overskirt and if they look good together. Let's try them on. This turned out very fun, especially the skirt. Running around swooshing this is the best of fun. I'm really happy I left it super long because now I have extra fabric to swoosh, which is the main factor I want in any skirt I make. The tunic is perhaps a little big. I could have taken it in a bit, but when I considered the fact that I was going to be wearing a corset over it, I was like, it doesn't need it. It is a little more plunging V-neck than I am typically comfortable wearing. I feel like a wrong move will see something falling out, but I do really love the color and texture of the fabric. I feel a bit like a bronze statue that's been half restored with these colors, but I am not mad about that. Now I just need to create the corset that's going to finish the look. So come back next week for that.